Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Continuing with the pronunciation of letters from page 10. Za, za. With the tip of the tongue touching the edges of thanaya sufla and a little of thanaya ulya, thus giving the sound of Z. So if you look at this diagram, so see this top two teeth? That's called thanaya ulya, central incisors. And at the bottom, these two teeth right here, that's called thanaya sufla. Now, the makhraj of za is such that za is pronounced with the tip of the tongue. See this tip of the tongue? Touching the edges of thanaya sufla. See these two teeth? Touching the edges of thanaya sufla. So you have to take out the tip of your tongue a little bit just to touch those edges. And a little bit of thanaya, the edges of thanaya ulya. See this right here? The edges of thanaya ulya. So it gives the sound of za. So za, zu, zi. Next letter, seen, seen. Same as the letter za, but with the sound of a whistle. So the makhraj of seen is the same place as za, but it has that S sound. Same place with the tip of the tongue touching the edges of thanaya sufla and the edges, a little bit of edges of thanaya ulya. So sa, su, si. Next letter, sheen. Same as the letter jim, but with the sound of sh, as in sheep. Now, what's the makhraj of jim? Let's go back. Jim, with the center of the tongue touching the hard palate. So see the center part of the tongue touching the hard palate right here. So that's ja, ju, ji. Going back to sheen, same place, but it has that sh sound. Shh. So sha, shu, she. Next letter, sod. Same as the letter seen, but with a full mouth. So same place as seen and za actually, but it has that sound of a full mouth. So saw, saw, su, si. So again, the makhraj of sod with the tip of the tongue touching the edges of thanaya sufla right here, and a little bit of the edges of thanaya ulya. And you have to make that sound with a full mouth. So saw, su, si. Next letter, mod, mod. This is a full mouth letter with upturning the edges of one side or both sides of the tongue and touching the inner gums of lawahik and tawahin, also raising the back part of the tongue towards the soft palate. Now look at this diagram. So what it's saying is that lod is pronounced with the side edge or both edges of the tongue. So see the side right here? So this, the side edge of the tongue or both sides touching the gums, the inner gums of lawahik and tawahin. Now what's lawahik and tawahin? Okay, right here is the thanaya ulya. After that it's rabai, the central incisors, and then anyab. See that pointy teeth, pointy tooth? So that's the canines. And right after that is lawahik. And that's the first premolar. And after that, second premolars. That's tawahin. So the makhraj of lod is that the side of the edge of the tongue touching the inner gums right here of lawahik and tawahin. And at the same time, raising the back part of the tongue. See this back part of the tongue? Towards the soft palate right here. So, mo, mu, li. Now, there's one tip right here. It says when you pronounce it, make sure to keep the front tip of the tongue away from the roots of thanaya and rabaya ulya and have it touch the palate. So when you're pronouncing maud, make sure this tip part of the tongue, make sure it doesn't touch the thanaya ulya or rabai. And also the roots of it, right behind these teeth, make sure that the tongue does not touch over there. But instead, have it touch the palate, the hard palate, right over here. Okay, so when you're pronouncing maud, make sure it does not touch the teeth, the front teeth, or the roots of it, but have it touch the hard palate. And at the same time, have the edge of the side edge of the tongue touching the inner gums of lawahiq and tawahin, the first premolar and the second premolars. So again, ma, mu, li. Some people, they pronounce this as a dal. Remember, dal, what's the makhraj of dal? Dal is pronounced with the tip of the tongue touching the roots of thanaya ulya, meaning right behind the thanaya ulya. Da, du, di. But lad has a total different makhraj, and that's making sure that the tip of the tongue does not touch the roots of the thanaya ulya, but instead have it placed at the hard palate and have the edge, the side edge of the tongue touching the inner gums of lawahiq and tawahin, meaning the first premolar and the second premolars. So, ma, mu, li.